Hey y'all, this is Amanda with She's a Mad Gardener, and today I'm going to be pruning my boxwood bushes today, or shrubs, and I'm going to be fertilizing them. And I wanted to show you guys how I go about the process. My boxwoods are fairly new. They're builder's grade. They were put in about 3 years ago. They're well established now enough that I can start shaping them a little bit. So I'm going to show you how I do that. As a reminder, if you haven't subscribed, make sure you hit that subscribe button, and also make sure you hit that notification bell. And remember, every time you subscribe or hit the notification bell or even leave me a comment, it helps my channel grow and bring me more videos. Bring you more videos. Okay, here's a couple of the boxwoods that I have on the front. They've been lightly shaped in the past. You can kind of see they have a little bit of a round shape, and I've just hand pruned them in the past with just a pair of clippers. Today I'm going to use a little bit of hedge trimmers and take them a little bit tighter. And then once I'm done with that, I'm going to be fertilizing them with plant tone at the base of them. I'm going to do those two today. Let me also show you around the corner here. I've got two more. Now these two guys got transplanted last year, so they were originally in front of my son's window over here, and so I moved them over on this side just to do a windbreak right here. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and switch to a voiceover because the wind gets intense, but both these shrubs I think will be okay. This one will be easier. This one on the left will be a little bit harder just because it's not as full as the other ones. So let's get started. I like to start by using a tarp or an old sheet or a piece of plastic. Even a large cardboard box would be great. And I like to put that at the base of the shrub so that I can catch any kind of trimmings that come off. It doesn't catch everything, but it certainly cuts down on the amount of greenery that I have to pick up off the ground later. So I think that's great. I haven't mulched this season yet, so that's also nice because the mulch will eventually cover it all up. I go ahead and hook up my electric hedge trimmers. I wish I had cordless ones because the cord drives me nuts. Maybe that'll be a future buy. I do love those Ryobi tools that utilize all the same batteries, so that makes life a little bit easy. So when I'm working on a shrub, I like to work from the bottom to the top. So I like to draw the blade starting at the bottom, and I like to look at only the outline of the shrub. You don't want to look at the dead center of it. You want to look at the outline and shape that outline almost like you're drawing the outside of a circle. And always start by taking off a little bit at a time. There's no reason to be in a hurry. You can definitely butcher these up pretty quickly. Now, in all fairness, if you cut it wrong and it looks terrible, it's going to grow out in a month. So don't stress. It's not the end of the world. But I just like to start at the bottom, work my way up a little bit at a time. I did make sure to maneuver my sheet a little bit so that I didn't get it caught in the blade. And then as I'm working, I like to look around the shrub. I like to put down my trimmers, go back and stand back and take a look at it, and then walk up over and do a little bit more trimming. Once I've done most of the major trimming with the hedge trimmers, I do come back with a little set of hand trimmers just to trim off any little pieces that I might have missed. Make sure to take your time. That's the most important part of this process. Make sure you have plenty of time to work on this before you go at it. This is not something that can be done in just a few moments unless, of course, you're an expert at it. You might find over the years that you'll have some dead branches in the inside of your boxwoods. I usually just trim out those branches, and I've never had any issues other than one, maybe two in a year in a particular boxwood. Obviously, if you have a ton of those branches, you might need to consider what's going on with your boxwood, if it's diseased, if it's got some issues or things like that. But you can always start by just trimming out the dead portions, making sure you fertilize and water it in well and keep an eye on it. And most likely it will bounce back pretty well. Boxwoods are very hardy shrubs. And here I am working in some plant tone fertilizer around the base. I just poured around the base and working in with my fingers. I'm using plant tone because that's what I have available at this point in time. But of course, you can utilize a specialty fertilizer for shrubs. I do like to fertilize my shrubs before I put down any of the mulch. So keep that in mind because then the fertilizer gets closer to the base. Okay, I just had to show y'all this. Remember when I moved these dwarf Alberta spruces a couple weeks ago? Look how great this area looks. Look how much new growth this was put on. It's very happy. These are cherry pop dianthus. Look at those. Gorgeous. Candy tuft. It's looking really good. I have the matching one on the other side. It's also very happy. All right. Okay. All right, got all those bushes trimmed up. I don't know how some of my favorite YouTube gardeners do it because they have like hundreds of boxwoods. I just have like 4. But I got all those trimmed up. I also trimmed up a couple of smaller mini pixie bushes. And then I fertilized everything with plant tone just at the base. I just grabbed a couple of handfuls, tossed it under there, kind of drug it through the soil with my hands, no big deal. I used one of my daughter's old sheets. I always put those out in the garage for project stuff like spray painting and stuff. So I just utilized one of those underneath the bush just to catch a lot of the debris from when I was cutting it. If you're a super crafty person, and I tend to usually do this, but it's spring right now and I've got so many projects, but you can save all of those boxwood clippings. You can put them in, make them into a wreath. You can preserve them. If you're someone who loves decor, you know that preserved boxwood wreaths are very expensive. So if you have the time to do it, save all those clippings, make something beautiful for your home as well. But I hope you guys enjoyed this kind of just walkthrough of how I trim up the shrubs, kind of just look for the outline of them and go a little bit at a time. You don't want to be in a rush. This is not a rush project because you can butcher these things up. So you definitely want to take your time going through it. I had really fun with, where'd those clippers go? I wanted to show you guys the clippers. Okay, I wanted to show you these clippers. These are my great-grandfather's clippers. Look at this. That's cool. I think these could take a finger off. But after I used the electric hedge trimmers, I went back with this just to fine tune some areas. And when I sit out here in the evenings, or I walk through my garden quite frequently, I'll bring these with me for the next week or so and just kind of trim up areas that I notice or sticking out, things like that. So other than that, thank y'all for joining me today. And as always, she's a mad gardener or a decorator or anything else that she wants to be. Thanks, y'all.